Good morning, traders. I'm Dennis Dick.
And I'm Joel Elconin. Welcome to Pre-Market Info.
Well, we got a little rally here on our hands, Joel. We're up 3 points. It's not a big rally, but that article that you wrote on the Premarket Info site early on this morning, it was posted. Risk off trade potentially back on. Expand on those thoughts.
Yeah, well, first just look at the S&P. We did just sneak under the double bottom here, 3650, got to 35. Nice level there of support
You
as
got the
long as we hold
pre-market chart
out.
on that S&P?
Yeah, let's go to the pre-market chart
See
here.
what it did overnight.
It dipped overnight. Oh, that's not the pre-market
Uh-oh,
chart
Joel's
here.
sleepy here on Friday. Here we go.
Here we go.
We
Dipped under the double bottom, caught a bid about 3:30 when Europe woke up and got a rally going. Back up to that 1550 levels seemed like magic in this. Yeah, we were talking about that blog yesterday. The financials seem to be breaking down some of the cyclicals, and gold's popping. What's that scenario mean?
Well, bring up a chart on some of these financials. Yeah, you're seeing a lot of these miners like NEM broke out yesterday, had a great day. A lot of the miners had great days. Barrick Gold as well, breaking out after forming nice bases here. Like bring up that ABX chart there, Joel. Obviously, that stock's formed a nice base. Had a breakout day there yesterday too. GG, same thing. So these miners are getting some money. Money is coming out of, and it was yesterday, it was coming out of the financials. Bring up a chart of Goldman Sachs. Had a terrible day yesterday. It's the worst day for Goldman in quite some time. It was down $3 or $4. Complete breakdown day on the chart, making a new high on the month, or a new low on the month. So you're seeing weakness in Goldman, you're seeing weakness in some of your financials. Bring up the chart on Deere too. Deere has just continued to march down. DE obviously the
Whew.
last 3 days here. It's had a couple downgrades, which has really pumped the stock down. But it's been weak, and Caterpillar's kind of the same story. FedEx obviously has been weak since it reported earnings there. It's down over $10 here really since it reported earnings. So you're seeing money, you're seeing a rotation here, and you're obviously seeing it flow into some of these defensive issues, including the miners.
Right, and just going back to that Goldman Sachs chart. Holy smokes! You want to look at some support in this thing. You have a triple bottom here at the one in the high 143s here. We're still a couple bucks away from that, but boy, if we take that out, then I think you're going to have to say the correction's officially on at Goldman Sachs here. Keep an eye on yesterday's low, 145.37. We're trading above that. You're right. I mean, these cyclicals just look sick. Is the best way to look. Is the best way to analyze it. Don't have major support in Deere down to 85.43. The cat, which topped out in early February,
Yeah.
sitting on a double bottom here, coincides with these lows back here in December. So you got some good levels to look at here as support. And if these things take it out. Who knows where they're going?
Speaking of good levels with support, bring up the chart on Apple there, Joel, because this 450 level continues to be enormous for this stock. It did get a bounce. Bring up yesterday's chart. It did get a bounce yesterday. It actually settled kind of weak. If you bring up that chart, it actually settled kind of weak. It is up a couple more bucks here this morning, but we were talking about this 450 level. Seems like somebody's accumulating the stock. They were doing it yesterday morning there again. Good call on your part because the stock took off late morning before kind of giving some of it back with the overall market. But Apple's showing some relative strength here because the market obviously pretty weak yesterday, and Apple actually was still fairly strong.
Now you're not going to see this very often in Apple here. You got almost a triple bottom here between 458.5 and 450. Got a double top up here, 456.93 to 57.98. You bust through there, you straight. Your next print is at 460 here. You get above 460, and got a lot of air in this thing in the 470 and the 480 handle. If you're trying to hold this, let's say you accumulate in this area, keep an eye on this 450 area. It's just huge support.
450 is huge. If it took that out, I would get nervous if I'm long. As long as it stays above 450, I remain bullish, despite the market looking not as good as it did maybe a few week or so ago before the whole Cyprus thing started. Apple is still showing some relative strength, and don't be surprised, even if the market goes down, Apple can still go up in a down tape. We saw it there yesterday. I think as long as it does remain above that 450, I would remain bullish the stock. We got lots of earnings news here, Joel. Nike reported last night. You out there buying shoes? Because wow, Nike up $4 here in the pre-market, 73 cents against estimates of 67. It's trading 57.80 right now. Just a huge lift here for the stock. Real lot of consolidation around this $58 level, though.
Yeah, that's what I'm seeing here, Dennis. 58.31 high was the spike. Dipped into the 57s a little bit after that. I'd call 57.43 this low here as support. I'm playing it off the long off the open, which I'm definitely not. Below 57.43, you got a lot of real estate to go. Just hanging out here. Someone's probably targeted that $58 level now as an exit point. I have a feeling if I pull up the daily here, it's not going to do
You got to
any
go a
good.
lot of years back. I'm not sure if this is an all-time high or not. I went 6 years back on my chart. 57.40 we hit on May the 4th of 2012, which was last year. I can't find a high higher than that. If somebody on the live show knows if it made a high before 2005. I just went all the way back to 2005, and this is a high since then. I don't know if back in the early 2000s if we were higher than here or not.
I don't think so. I think this is an all-time high for it. So your parameters are consolidation here at 58, high of the move, in the pre-market 58.31. So those are your levels.
Wow.
And when you get into this here, man, you just, if you happen to short it, just throw out bids, 57, 56 and a half,
I don't know, man.
56.
Short stocks making all-time highs. I'm always scared to do that. This is short and stocks making all-time highs, but it seems like a ridiculous move. But obviously, I think you look at what is that little ticked low there in the pre-market after it made the big spike. You know the low I'm looking at. What is that?
Yeah, 57.43.
57.43. That's what I'm going to use for my bogey. If it starts trading below that number, I'm going to obviously get nervous from the long side just because it ticked down there, and obviously there's a lot of air below. So. Moving on here, Joel, DRI also reported Red Lobster / Olive Garden, $1.02 versus $1.01. Stock has not traded here this morning at all, so very hard to get a feel for which way the stock is going to go when it doesn't make a trade off of its earnings report. But we'll give the technicals on it anyways. $50 looks big to me.
Yeah, 50's a little ways away here. Before you get there, 49.53 was the high back on the 15th. That's going to be your resistance. Have a gap to fill. Gap to fill up to the $50 level here. So those are your two marks on the upside: 49.53 and 50.
I can't talk about stocks that haven't traded because Joel will yawn when he's talking about it. We got to keep Joel excited here this morning. TIF reported earnings and it is traded. It's traded 75,000 shares. This could get you pumped up a little bit. Stock is up $3 here this morning, trading up at 70.80 right now. So a nice lift for Tiffany's on their earnings of $1.40 versus $1.36. Guidance 343 to 353. Estimates are at 350, so kind of right around there. But they like the earnings beat, and the stock is trading up significantly here this morning.
71.78 pop in the pre-market. You've gotten a sell-off there under the 70.50 level. Recent low not too long ago with 70.40. I would use that as minor support. Then you come back down into the 70 level. You know, these retailers just sometimes have a mind of their own. Looking at the daily in this chart, we are making a new high for the move. The former high was 71.08. So I bet you that $71 level is going to be resistance along with the pre-market high.
Coach is getting a little bit of a sympathy move, COH, getting a little bit of a sympathy move with this morning. It often does trade with it. It's trading up 30 cents here this morning. So you could see a little bit of sympathy here. Coach, though, obviously has not had nearly as nice of a move over the last couple months as Tiffany's has. So I think that's even more why Tiffany is up even more, because Coach hasn't been great when they reported, and Tiffany's, beating. I think the market really, didn't expect that, and obviously the stock's trading up significantly on it.
Major resistance here at these two tops, 50.73 and 50.89. So split that in the middle. 50.80 will be your good level. Not a huge reaction, as you said, in the pre-market activity. Spotty trades, 1,300 trading. Looking at the high from yesterday should be your first initial resistance point of 50.40. We're only 16 cents away from that.
Micron Technologies reported last night, symbol MU, stock Actually, it looks like it lost money here, but the revenue was pretty good, 2.1 billion versus 1.92 billion. And the stock is getting a massive lift here this morning. It's up 8% now, trading at 982. So really good lift here for
Hmm.
Micron this morning.
Yeah, when you read the earnings and it says, it does not compare. I'm like, well, then, why the hell are you putting it out there if it doesn't compare? But anyways, Micron trading up right here at the top in the pre-market as we speak. 984, 985. We're just ticking there. Big move, almost up 10% here. Pretty decent volume. 1 million shares. Now, sometimes I get a little bit carried away with these thick stocks moving up quite a bit in the pre-market. But, could there be some low-lying fruit, some offers in the book, just
I don't know.
GTCs get scooped up?
Uh,
Maybe he opens this thing at 950 and then jams it to 10.
The
So,
problem
what's your,
is, and I
what?
think
What's
I
your
said this
problem?
with you the other day, when you get this volume this high, if the thing had traded like 100,000 shares, I'd say maybe. This thing's already traded 1 million shares. We were like an hour before the open yet. I bet you this thing does over 2 million, maybe even 3 million before it's going to scoop through everything with that much volume trade in the pre-market. This is priced when you give it this much volume on a move in the pre-market. It's the book really doesn't affect it at all. So I don't think it's gonna I think it's gonna open where it's trading in the pre-market. Maybe it moves down or rolls down from there. Maybe it rolls up. I don't know, but I do like that 975 number though, where you're looking for a swing number
Yep.
because you have that double top there.
Yep, yeah, so that will act as support. I mean, this is a huge move. I mean, the stock is kind of stair stepping up, and then you get the real good moves off the earnings. Let's take a look a little bit longer term. Longer term, it looks even better. Let's go to a monthly here, see if we can find some resistance here. Oh, look at that number there, sticking out
What
like a
is that?
sore thumb. Yeah, 1003 back in June of 2011. So if you've been holding that stock and wrote it down to 4, back up to 10, that's a nice round number. There's be some offers there too.
You get back into those
Uh,
double digits too. People get excited and they say, "Oh, finally!"
yeah.
So I think you do see some resistance. It's just such a big number, $10. When you get that huge.
Anything in the move with that, like Intel?
No, I don't think so. Years ago, you used to see stocks like Teradyne and stuff move with it, but Micron's kind of just its own horse here. I don't think you're going to see a lot of sympathy moves here on yeah, there's Teradyne, but I don't think you're going to see a lot of sympathy moves with a small company like Micron. It's just not big enough to have that much influence anymore. Years ago, it was. I don't think so now. Maybe you see a little, in some of the software, but I don't think
Okay.
so. Um, Also here in the news, TIBX trading down significantly. Looks like it's going to be your big loser of the day, Tibco Software. They reported in line 18 cents against estimates of 18 cents. Guidance for next quarter 17 to 19. Estimates are up at 25. This thing's just started taking a shellacking after hours last night, and it is just continued here this morning. We're now trading under 20 bucks. It's just ugly here for Tibco Software.
You know what? I got a story about Tipco software,
Okay.
I don't know if you remember it, but when we were trading in the Bright office, Goldman did a huge conversion of their software, and they were using Tipco software.
Okay.
And so one day they converted things over, and we came in, and it was just a nightmare. It did nothing worked. I mean, that was
Uh-oh.
several years ago. Yeah, but it was just, I mean, and ever since then, like every time I hear this stock, I just get a shudder because I remember, I can't trade it. I can't look. I just remember coming in and I remember talking to the programmers and screaming at them. I mean, everything was messed up on Ready. But obviously,
Obviously,
it
everything's
does.
messed up with this stock here this morning too. So
Yeah.
I don't.
1930 is the scraping along the bottom here in the pre-market, trying to put a low in here.
Trying.
Let's look at the daily. Yep, daily. Wow, we run into some problem. Well, we got to go back to December here. We have a reference point at 1895. So that's your support,
Yeah.
1895 to 19. But can't make a real good case for buying it really at any level today.
Pepsi, PEP, and Mandela's MDL Zebra. Uh, Telegraph is reporting that Nelson Peltz building up stakes in both of these companies. That's why both of these companies trading up significantly here in the pre-market. Pepsi trading higher here, 77.5. This is a big move for stock like Pepsi. We haven't seen a move like this in Pepsi in a while. And actually, I think, if I'm not mistaken, this is breaking out to a new 52-week high in the pre-market.
Yeah, Nelson Peltz pelted you a little bit, huh, this
Yeah, you know
morning,
what?
huh?
I actually saw it was short and I didn't see the news, and I was like, "Oh, Nelson Peltz." I actually quickly covered it after I saw the news. I lost a dime on the Pepsi because I don't want to be part of, when they start talking about building a position. And then he was saying that the Telegraph's also reporting maybe might push for a merger between these two companies. Obviously, all just rumors here right now, so I don't know how much is in this, but I do know this is a big move for Pepsi and Mandela's too.
77.71 is what we hit in the pre-market, just kind of digesting here at 77.50. Immediately, when you go to the dailies, boy, this number sticks out like a sore thumb, huh? 77.41
Yep.
was the high of the move. So if you open above there, that's going to act as support. But I don't want to go to my volume theory again, but, up a point, over a point on 28,000 shares. I mean, it's got to be some stock in the book here. Maybe, do
77, there'd be a bet. 77. But the only thing is, like, we have 30,000 shares here traded. It's starting to pick up a little steam. You have an hour yet. It's probably going to trade 70 or 80,000 shares by the time the market opens, which could push it up over 77 for sure. Market wants us over 77. They keep pushing it higher. Mandela's MDL Zebra, too. Bring up that chart there, Joel, because it's breaking out to a new high on the move here, too. 2910, the old MDL Zebra, the chart, this symbol on that. Obviously, that Kraft spinoff there from last year, getting a good lift here this morning.
Right, and it's cracking through major resistance that you had at 28.75. So if you are shorting the stock in the pre-market or off the open, comes back to 28.75. That was the high on March 8th. Lo and behold, you had the high from yesterday at 28.74. So good support there. 51,000 shares have traded. Just looking at the double bottom from yesterday too. If this thing goes into reverse at 28.41 and 28.42.
Coles downgraded to sell at Deutsche Bank. Sell ratings. Are they allowed to put sell ratings on stocks? Yeah.
The S word.
The S word. Oh, they gave him the S word here this morning. It's trading down. Now, if you want to talk about light volume, this one's light volume. It's trading 100 shares here today. So 100 shares have ticked at 45.84. Is offered at 45.93. Nobody's sniffing him, so it looks like it's going to open up under 46 bucks. Coles had a nice breakout there. Looks like the breakout's a fake out now, as looks weak here. They're a little bit weak here this morning.
46 is huge in this. Bounced off it a couple times. Didn't quite get there yesterday. 46.28 was yesterday's low, so we use that as resistance if we get a pop. This 45 handle does not look healthy to me. I just don't see anything in here. So unless this thing gets back over 46, I expect it to trade closer to 45 today. I mean, this low was in the mid 44s, 44.57. But this does not look like a good area to be long cold stock in.
Monster Beverage, MNST, trading down a couple of bucks here. There was a study linking energy drinks to higher blood pressure. I guess that's not good for stocks like Monster Beverage, who are chucked full of all their caffeine and all their fun stuff. And the stock's trading down $2 here. You can see a little bit of a news algo overshoot on that story breaking there last night when the stock looks like it ticked down. How low did that thing get?
I got to 46.30 before recovering back over 49. Do you ever try any of those energy drinks, or I never?
No, not really. I think back in the day, like before Monster Beverage was out, I remember, wasn't there something like Jolt Cola or something? Anybody remember Jolt Cola?
Yeah.
I was in university. I can remember going back 15 years ago and studying for exams, and you got to stay up and you drink those Jolt Colas. I think that was kind of the start of it all. I've never had one of the Monster Beverages, though. Anybody on our live show, they drink any of those Monster Beverage to give them some energy for their trading if they could do perk up, but that's
3-day low on this stock is 48.23. Traded through it in the pre-market, hovering above there. I'd call that minor support. And then you can see once you get under the 48, not a lot between 48 and 46. A couple stair step lows there. But when the news out on stocks like this, it's kind of hard to go against it.
Okay, gold actually GLD is trading down here this morning. I know we talked off the hop that obviously some of the miners were trading well here this morning, but you do have a breakdown here if you bring up the pre-market chart in the GLD. It is breaking down here this morning. You also have silver breaking down SLV. This is just basically in the last, I don't know, in the last 20 or 30 minutes here, so real weakness showing in the precious metals. SLV too, Joel, bring up the chart on that. Obviously, we had a decent day with the miners yesterday, but man, not a good morning here on the silver or the gold.
Right. Well, if you look at the GLD, it could be coming in. There's some support here on the daily. Here we look at the three lows that you had in this vicinity, a little ways away. 154. Yeah, three lows between 154.88 and 155.10. We're only 24 cents away from there. So if it comes down and tests that, that's going to be support. If not, then all for naught, it could be heading back to 150.
Where was that support on the SLV? Bring up the chart on the SLV, the daily chart there. We can just see.
The crazy,
Yeah,
the crazy.
yeah. See, there we go. Like on the SLV, remember here, you had this huge support at 27.5. Look where we're at. We're 27.64. Man, that 27.50 is big on that, eh? Wow.
Yeah. Yep, perhaps you get if he does dip below it, if you don't want to stick your neck out on the way down, and then it comes back up ripping for it.
How low did it cut through? If there's a few cut throughs there, like how much risk? If you look at that first one on like the 20th there, what's the low there?
27.35.
So you may have to take a little bit of heat. You never know; it could cut through.
35, 43, 46. Right. Yeah, I mean, that's a level. I mean, we're right back down there. So
yeah.
I don't know. Maybe the gold gods and the silver gods are trying to get me from my blog.
I think so. Actually, you're getting punished for that blog you just posted. Okay, that's our show for today, guys. Have a great trading day. Have a great weekend, and we'll be back with you guys on Monday.